All right, peace and blessings, and welcome to another episode of YB's Collaboration Corner in conjunction with Self Publishing 30 Days. I am your host, Rob YB Youngblood. I serve as the president of sales for Self Publishing 30 Days. And in many circles, I'm known as the LinkedIn locksmith because of my ability to unlock the power of LinkedIn. Now, we're not going to talk too much about LinkedIn today, but this young lady is someone that I was able to engage and connect to on LinkedIn. And I really enjoyed her story as we got to know each other. And I wanted to have her talk a little bit about herself and introduce her to the world. So, Kawana Davis, how are you doing today?
I am great. I am so great, and it's a pleasure to be here with you all today.
I love it. I love it. One of the things that I enjoyed about our most recent conversation was the fact that you are very much a giver. Your heart is really big. You've done a lot in the community that you serve. But before we get into that, tell us where you're from originally, and give us a little bit of your backstory.
I'm a native Louisianian, of course. I reside in the region of New Orleans, but I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So from Creole seafood, soul food, any and everything you could think of, food, jazz, of course, it's the stereotypes there. But I'm from Louisiana, just a simple country girl who aspires to do a lot of great things. And my life is literally rooted in the Word of God, according to living and giving.
I
You know,
love it. I love it. So I recently took a trip with my family to New Orleans, and you and I had a chance to talk
yeah.
right after that, and it was just a pleasure being able to just learn a couple of things. I wish I would have talked to you before I went on my trip, but I do plan on going back. So how has your upbringing in Louisiana, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, how has that helped you to grow into the professional that you are today?
Culturally speaking, being from Baton Rouge, you have, Louisiana, you have to understand that Louisiana, regarding where you live, you get a different upbringing. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge. However, Baton Rouge is more a stickler of race relations. You have to just know that certain things, it's LSU. You think of LSU and LSU only, but you have to also understand there's a divide. There's Southern.
Mm,
My family, my grandmother, her grandparents, they were considered sharecroppers, and they were divided up amongst different people. So with that being said, property, we have a history of property being taken out of our family, farm
mm,
property and different things like that. So there was that rooted issue with that. Then there's the other thing, living in the growth opportunities, business growth opportunities. I felt I had to leave Baton Rouge to do that. Came to New Orleans and been here for well over 30 some odd years. um you can do a lot more with family. There are so many that desire to do more. Not saying Baton Rouge didn't offer that for other people, just for me,
right.
I felt I had to get away. And when I moved to New Orleans, the drive was a little different.
Hmm.
The desire to be able to network, and I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I've always been an entrepreneur, to be
Right.
honest with
Right.
you. It just gave me different networking skill sets. And I think what lended itself to that was my mother.
Hmm.
She's a cancer survivor. And in true all honesty, my father was addicted to drugs.
Mm,
He was a provider for the home, but he was still addicted to drugs. So I'm an only child. I
mm,
had to come to the quick understanding that the world, everybody had either sicknesses or they were struggling with something. So
right.
that put me in a mindset of, okay, I have one thing I could count on, and that's God. Now, my schooling, I had no issues with that,
Right.
So it was that, in understanding, watching my mother strive for different things and see how my dad was going through what he was going through. I knew it was a couple things I didn't want to do. I didn't
Right.
want to be addicted to drugs, alcohol, anything like that.
Hmm.
He had a calling on his life, but he struggled in that area. Whereas my
Hmm.
mother had a reason to fight.
Mm,
So her strength and tenacity to continue to move forward, I made it my mission to make sure I stayed on the straight and narrow, but to be able to provide retirement for her,
hmm.
provide a solution that where she lost out on being able to do what I'm doing right now.
Hmm.
Um, Granted, she's doing great now, but she didn't have that opportunity at a young age. She had me at 16.
Mhm.
So we grew up together. So
Right.
that's my bestie, as opposed to making sure I lay the foundation not only for my daughter
Mhm.
and make sure she has assets for her, but also for my mother as well.
Yeah, no, I love how you share that. And you know, our parents are so much of a impact on our lives. I reflect on myself being an only child. You know, my mother's only child. My father had a couple of children, but my mother's only child, and then how that impacts and how we see the world. Talk a little bit about the work that you do. I know that you're a change agent. I would love for you to talk a little bit about that.
I'm all over the place.
But I think it all intertwines, right? So being
it,
a
it
change
feeds into
agent.
it feeds into each other, put it like
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. So
So
talk a little bit about that, and then let's kind of go right into your business and or businesses and what you have going on.
I currently work in construction full time. However, I'm a director of programming and administrative affairs for the Louisiana Chamber of Commerce Foundation. What the Louisiana Chamber of Commerce Foundation is it serves as a state minority chamber developer. In other words, we make it a point to not only affect policy and how policy is written for minority Black businesses, you know, how our businesses are trained, how our businesses receive funding, capital. We really go in and make sure we're not just doing the business, but it's in our DNA.
Right.
My CEO, David St. Etienne, and my director, my executive director and vice president, Kalisha Garrett, they all sit on boards across the state of Louisiana and nationwide with the U.S. Black Chamber.
Mhm.
And over the past 2 years, I've learned, when I say a wealth of knowledge, I only owe that to them because they gave me an opportunity to build my consulting agency, or build my consulting firm, but garner the ability to be able to help small BIPOC communities and BIPOC businesses.
Mhm.
So we offer technical assistance, building out programs for that through funding and grant programs and private business, but we also make sure our small businesses are, and I keep going back to our BIPOC businesses because that's what's important to us at this
Right.
moment.
Right.
And making sure they understand the simplest things of back of house, having your business in a separate bank account. It's been a drive for us, as well as bringing in Black farmers and making sure they're taken care of. That's the forgotten population that nobody realizes. When you're in southern Louisiana, all across the United States, Black farmers, they don't fit just one box.
Right.
And I have recently, over the past year, found a love getting back to what my grandfather taught me, how to farm.
Yeah.
So it's all playing a part, and I believe giving and doing this out of not only educating, but because I care to make the GDP grow in our community, I think it's better.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So that's good that you had that drive, and I'm definitely a fan of the various chambers of commerce, being a board member here in the Chesterfield area. Let's talk a little bit about your business and ventures that you have. Like, you got a beautiful logo, so this is actually being recorded so people can see it, but they may be some people that's listening to it. So talk a little bit about your business and what you've got going on there.
So this is a little different. I am a minority-owned dog apparel company. We own Diogi's Place. Diogi's Place is strictly for dogs and dog owners. There is a hidden myth that Black people don't like to, they don't treat their dogs as family, when that is a total myth.
Yeah.
Black women, men, when I tell you, we love dogs, and dogs are the green. They go across the span of cultures.
Mhm.
Anybody love dogs. So I created Diogi's Place with my daughter in mind. I'm just going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I have two schnauzers, one schnoodle and one full miniature schnauzer.
Mhm.
So because we've always been pet, dog owners and fur baby lovers, my daughter aspired to be a veterinarian.
Mhm.
So I took that idea, and in my attempt to build generational wealth, I said, you know what? I've seen it done in other cultures. Why does my child have to turn 18 and you know how they say kick the kid out and struggle.
Yeah,
You don't have to do that. She's an
Yeah.
only child.
right.
And I wanted to make sure I imparted great business ethic for her,
Mhm.
even though I learned it late. I'm 43. I have no problem with saying that. But
Right.
I learned business ethic late. I got my master's last year in May, I finished. So I wanted to make sure I had something tangible to give to my daughter,
Mhm.
aside from training her on stocks. But I wanted to hand over her an asset that she can take over and she can run. This is my business as at this point, but she's the co-owner.
No, I love that. I love that. I was just having a conversation with a graduate of my alma mater. I'm a graduate of Virginia Union University, so
Mhm.
I know we talk about HBCUs, which is pretty big in the South.
Mhm.
But we were talking about this notion, and I had to repent, right?
Mhm.
That at 18 you're out of there, right? So I have two beautiful daughters, and growing up as a single only child of my mom would tell me 18 you out of here, right? And so it actually produces more of a generational curse, because our children
Yes.
may not be ready. But then you look at some other cultures, and those cultures are keeping their children, are staying with them and taking care of their grandparents and
Yes.
contributing to the household. And then what happens is they'll stack their money up and go out, and they'll have the 20% to put down on a home and
Correct.
not have to flinch. So yeah, I appreciate you sharing that. When you think about your business and the work that you do, how does collaboration fit into the success that you've obtained so far?
Well, to be honest with you, the collaboration works like this. I'm a small business owner. In teaching, I can actually go through the process of being a small business owner, and then I can also know how and what small business owners go through personally.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I put my other hat on, I can speak from the space of a small business owner. Each of us actually own businesses outside of being a volunteer or working with the foundation. So if I'm going, let's take for instance, Amazon. They have the Black Business Accelerator. And because my business is 2 years old, I opted because US Black Chamber offered that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
I had that insight. However, when I applied for it, they didn't know, Amazon didn't know that.
Right.
US Black Chamber didn't know anything about it. I applied for it because that's something I needed for my business.
Right.
However, all the problems that I was going through with Amazon recently,
Mm-hmm.
how they process people through the system,
Mm-hmm.
I was able to take that information, go back to my team and say, hey, listen, this is not working.
Right.
Their process is not working. And I need to know, what can we do differently? How can we get to the table, have a conversation, and tweak the policy, tweak the processes that they believe are conducive to what's going on for the Black community and Black business owners. But if you're not going through it, how can you teach somebody else how to do it?
Yeah.
So that's how I'm able to do that. Any process that my business take on, I have this little Bible that I jot out. That's how I train different people.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm learning, I take that same information, I go give it to somebody else.
Right.
Via Instagram, via, speaking with a small business owner. It's like, hey, you don't have to do that. Go use this software.
Yeah.
You don't need to do that. It's being able to go and offer that free information and bless somebody else with a token of information and knowledge.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And it's an opportunity for us to pay it forward. I'm working on my second book now. It's called Collaboration Creates Currency. Mm-hmm. And I have some folks in there that are contributing that understand the value of collaboration. When you think about collaboration, who do you look for when it comes to collaboration? Like when you say, for example, they're listening to this podcast or watching on YouTube, who appeals to you? Like who do you keep your eyes open for when it comes to collaboration?
Well, immediately I have a solid foundation of business owner friends. Mm-hmm. I made it a point, and I also understand that who you encounter, who you communicate with on a consistent basis, they're gonna affect your livelihood and how your business is ran. So I have a clear understanding that I have a real estate broker, a transportation owner as somebody that I communicate with. I communicate with you. Mm-hmm. And when you build a board of sorts. You want people
Yeah.
from all different industries.
Yeah.
And that's how you're able to come together and say, hey, listen, I want to touch on some things. Maybe I'll run something by you.
Yeah.
I collaborate with people I know that are subject matter experts, and we can feed off of each other.
Yeah.
Not only does that breed a great work ethic, but it also breeds a great friendship, you know, knowledge base. And I may not know everything.
Well, you know, you touched on something really strong. My wife, when we were first dating, she mentioned how one of her mentors encouraged her to build her own personal board of directors, right?
Mhm.
So we think about companies or nonprofits as only having boards, but a wise thing to do would be to identify people who have some level of influence or insight or information
Correct.
that can help us to grow. And so by creating that personal board, you can have people that you can bounce ideas off of, and it becomes mutually beneficial. I'm dealing with a person who every time he sees me, he's like, listen, I want to pick your brain, or I want to, I want to brainstorm with you. But what he doesn't realize is that comes with a relationship, right? So
Yeah.
oftentimes people want to do those things that they want to do it because they don't want to pay, but they think it's going to come just super easy. But when you focus on building a relationship first,
Correct.
then you'll have the opportunity to tap into that. As we begin to land the plane, I want to know who, if somebody was looking to connect with you, if they wanted to collaborate with you,
Mhm.
what would be the best way for them to reach out and connect with you?
They can definitely shoot me an email through Trinity Strategic. I want to make sure I give you that information, or they can actually email Kawana Davis 01@gmail, and then I'll give them that other information.
I love it.
So you're more than welcome to KAWANA Davis DAVIS 01@gmail.
That's awesome. So for those of you who are watching, listening, make sure you reach out to Kawana, especially if you're in the state of Louisiana. She's making a lot of moves in Louisiana. So if you don't know her now, you better get to know her quick, because I could see her making some even greater moves throughout the nation. I do have one final question for you, and that is, obviously, we're connected to Self-Publishing 30 Days, where we focus on empowering aspiring authors and helping them to become self-published authors. So say, for example, you were in the process of putting together a best-selling book, right? You had an opportunity to do that, and you were going to travel anywhere in the world, and we were going to pay for it. And when I say we, I mean myself and my team, for you to go anywhere to complete this book. What part of the world would you travel to?
Oh, wow. Honestly, I would just go to Colorado. I don't have to go anywhere outside of the United States. I would go back to the mountains in Colorado.
I love it. I love it.
I'm real simple.
Yeah.
I prefer the snow.
You prefer the snow. You're a
I
snow. Oh God,
prefer
you're a
the snow.
snowbird. Yeah, you're the opposite of a snowbird. You know, snowbirds
Yes.
go where it's warm, but you're the opposite of a snowbird.
I
So
definitely would go to the mountains.
I love it.
I would do that.
I love it. That's good. That's good. Kawana, do you have anything else on your heart that you'd like to share before we wrap up?
I just want to remind everybody to definitely, when doing business, you want to do business through the lens of opening your hands and blessing other people with knowledge. It doesn't hurt to offer tokens of knowledge and wisdom to other people. Just don't take offense if they don't take it and use it. Closed hands can be blessed, but if you open your hands and your mind and heart and you bless other people with that knowledge, then your business will be blessed.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, we don't have to say any more about that. Listen, for those of you who are watching, listening, understand that we are focused on empowerment. This podcast is meant to empower, inspire, and impact you, to help you live out your God-given purpose. And one of the ways that we're doing that is by promoting our LinkedIn for Authors course and coaching community. For those of you who are authors or aspiring authors, you can join us every Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern on Clubhouse, where we host LinkedIn for Authors, and we talk all things networking and strategies and ways to leverage that phenomenal platform to increase your visibility, credibility, and profitability. So definitely feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn if you want to get more information on that, and obviously connect with Kawana directly if you want to get some information from her. But what I want to leave you with the 3 Bs, for those of you who are new, you'll understand what the 3 Bs are. For those of you who listen, you already know what's about to go down. Be encouraged, be blessed, but most of all, be faithful over the gift that you have, because that gift will make room for you. We'll see you on the next episode of YB's Collaboration Corner. Peace.